Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new TV show spoiler review here on Max Talks Movies. Today we're talking about episode 4 of Andor on Disney Plus. The episode's called Aldani. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I do this breakdown every single Wednesday, She-Hulk breakdowns every single Thursday, as well as other TV movie reviews, movie rankings, and box office breakdown shows. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on episode 4? Spoiler fashion of Andor. Is this your favorite? Are you just pumped that this show is on TV right now? Let me know in the comment section. And please like the video, guys. Please like the video. It really helps support the channel. Let's get into episode 4, Aldani. So this is the first solo episode we've gotten of the show. They released the first 3 episodes last week, and now we are already up a third of the way through the show now, as we are 4 episodes in of 12. So we are now at the 1/3 mark of the show, and I'm loving the show. This is a really intimate political spy thriller in Star Wars, and it's done very well. So this week once again we leave with Luthen and Cassian, and we think Luthen's going to be on this journey with Cassian, but he drops Cassian off and he offers him $200,000. Once you finish up with these people, and they meet up with, I believe it's her name. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, Faye Marseille, who plays the character Vel Sartha, and they're doing this whole endeavor on Aldani, and they needed an extra hand. At least that's what Luthen says, and the rest of the group doesn't really trust Cassian. But Cassian then, this whole episode, Cassian doesn't do too much this episode. He's just kind of, which I kind of like, he's just watching and observing what is going on. He's still seen not as with everyone, which I found really interesting. He's always been kind of apart from people, and he finally walks into a community where he's supposed to be just teaming up with people, and they're just not on his side. So really liked that angle in the episode. But Cassian's just trying to understand what kind of suicide mission they're going to be on. They have 3 days to kind of learn everything. And we end the episode with him basically like, you got to read this up, wake up in the morning, and you need this all to be understood by the morning. But for me, the really interesting part of this episode was the Luthen angle. Stellan Skarsgård is amazing in this show. And the fact that he's kind of this person who works, we go to Coruscant. This is the first time live action that we've been in Coruscant other than the prequel trilogy. Obviously, Clone Wars features there, but I mean, live action, we have not been back in Coruscant since the end of Revenge of the Sith, and seeing where the planet has come, and after seeing it being a very much a republic place, now seeing it run by the Empire, it is sad to see what Coruscant, while it's still beautiful and grand and wealthy around it, if you love Star Wars like me, you understand just how really it's a fall from grace for Coruscant. And this is where we get the introduction of on this show for the return of Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma. Now, I know a lot of people, casual fans, might not know Mon Mothma. She was the person who kind of led up that she was in Return of the Jedi, not Genevieve O'Reilly, but Mon Mothma was originally in Return of the Jedi. She's the one who, when Han is asked, when Lando's asked to take the Falcon, Han's is taking, I think it was like a Star Destroyer into battle and Return of the Jedi. She's the one who runs the table, and then she hands the baton over to Akbar in that scene. Mon Mothma was in the deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith with Genevieve O'Reilly in the role. And then we had Mon Mothma show up in Rebels. She's one of the main rebel leaders. She disagrees. She has issues with Saw Gerrera, at least in Rebels. We'll see hopefully those issues here. And then Genevieve O'Reilly returned to play the role, first time in the movie, in the action movie, not in a deleted scene, in Rogue One, where she's obviously working with Cassian in Rogue One. So her whole scene with Luthen was great, where Luthen's kind of just playing in his act, and then they go to the back and they talk about what they need for each other. And, Mon Mothma has this plan. Again, really fascinating stuff. Then she goes home on Mothma, and she has to have this dinner with all these people that she hates. And she hates that the assistant's like joking around saying that these are the fun people and you're sitting at the boring aisle of the table. And how she's like, I'm not joking around here. Like, they're starving people? Is that something we should be laughing about? And I felt like that Mon Mothma scene was really excellent. Just shows her again where she stands, and she's really, she puts herself out there. She's not this rebel yet, technically, that we see in Star Wars Rebels and Return of the Jedi and Rogue One. She's technically still a part of this empire in the council on Coruscant, finding out how she gets out of the situation. I'm very, very excited for. We also have this security guard, or the security person who sees that the Empire thing that Cassian stole, that we saw last week, is under her jurisdiction, but they're not letting her go after it. I just love the different areas of really the Empire and the small snippets of the rebellion. While yes, it's very flashy to see, obviously Luke and the rebels in the original trilogy, but there are also just other types of rebels who don't have the Force and don't have all of the weaponry. That's what I really loved about Rogue One. Now, yes, Vader is in Rogue One. He has a whole lightsaber scene, but the movie's not about that type of stuff. And I think what this show is really excellent, that these people do actually, for some in Star Wars, feel like real people who, if something would happen with that kind of regime today, some people like this would be wanting to fight back. And Luthen having kind of a dual personality. I know it's not in personality, but he's pretending to be this person on Coruscant, and he's really this rebellious person in the outside. It's a fascinating character to watch in the show. So I can't wait to keep watching Stellan Skarsgård in the show. Based on what we had last week, it seems like we're getting 3-episode arcs, which I am all for. Because the first 3 arcs really feel like a movie, and we might not see most of those characters again. But getting a new arc now, hopefully, this really Albani kind of mission seems to be probably in its own 3-episode arc. I think we're now going to be, when we start next episode, we'll be 2 days away from this mission with that Cassian will have to go on. How will Luthen and Cassian reunite? Because obviously that seems like a great duo. Their conversations are really masterfully written. This one's written by Dan Gilroy, the brother of Tony Gilroy. He has the writing credit for this episode. Just a very well-written, structurally show that, yes, isn't a Star Wars Easter egg fest, but you care about the characters already. It's fascinating, especially if you're not in the loop of Star Wars and just seeing just the different layers of the galaxy. I think the show's doing a perfect job at showing just there is more than just Palpatine, Vader, and Luke and the Jedi. There's more than that, and there's regular people trying to fight through what's the Empire has been going on. So I'm loving this show. Luthen's my favorite character, played by Stellan Skarsgård. He's really, really good in this show. There's so much depth. There's the people who are in the Empire. There's people who are pretending to be in the Empire, senators, rebel fighters. There's just so many different things going on that I'm loving. So Andor is definitely my favorite Star Wars show of the year thus far. So far, even better. Obviously, I think it's in a different league than both Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Can't believe I get to watch this for 8 more Wednesdays here. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell, like the video. I'll be back every single Wednesday breaking down the new episode of Andor. Coming out tomorrow will be my review, spoiler review of episode. Are we at episode, I believe, 8 or 7 of She-Hulk? The new episode of She-Hulk, I will break down. Which is episode 7. I will break that down spoiler fashion tomorrow. A review of Smile will be out on Friday. Yesterday, I did a review of Don't Worry, Darling. And on Monday is my box office breakdown show. And then back here on Wednesday, a week from today, you'll have my spoiler review of episode 5 of Andor. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys soon.